nice reserved space that was nicely furnished. There were computers set aside for the veterans. And then, I kind of poked around and said, is there anybody here? And Chris Norajati, who's a U.S. Navy veteran, came out and talked to me about all of the things that GPC has to offer. And, I, at that point, had realized my error, but then I thought, well, okay, so I'll run with it. So that's how I got here. I like the idea that GPC is a school that caters to the veteran of Georgia and its 5 campuses, with the 2 military outreach centers, both here on the Clarkston campus and over at the Dunwoody campus. And one of the things that we've done is these flags in front of you. There are 650 of those flags, and that's for each of the student veterans that attend GPC at each of its 5 campuses. Students such as Chris Norajati, who, as I mentioned, is a U.S. Navy veteran. Master Chief Petty Officer John Ross, who is retired from the U.S. Coast Guard. Pamela Parker, who is a former Marine, although she would probably argue with me and say that she's still a Marine. Ashton Simpson, who attends the Dunwoody campus, who's a member of the Air Force. Beverly Douglas at the Newton campus, who is also a member of veteran of the Air Force. We currently also have attending at school Specialist Aaron Charles, who is a member of the National Guard currently serving. And also in the Military Outreach Center, we have one of our military outreach coordinators. All of our military outreach coordinators are Army veterans. Specialist Natasha Nicholson. She currently serves in the U.S. Army Reserves. U.S. Major retired John Douglas, and Sergeant Major Mark Eister. And I appreciate all of their efforts on my behalf and the behalf of everyone who attends school here. As this nation today looks to those who have served and those who continue to serve the nation as the bedrock of our freedoms, we students at GPC thank you, Georgia Perimeter College, for being the bedrock of our future. Thank you. Please welcome Sergeant Mark Eister.
It's scary when they pull the folder out. It's like, oh boy, 20-25 minutes tops, I promise. Well, good morning, President Watts, ladies and gentlemen, and today's honored guests, our military veterans. Welcome and thank you for joining us as we honor those who have served, fought for, and protected our country and our freedom. In 2009, Congress approved and enacted the post-9/11 GI Bill, the greatest VA education benefit for military veterans of all time. As a result, we have seen over 1 million veterans take advantage of this opportunity to attend college, myself included. And while this is truly a wonderful demonstration of gratitude shown to veterans by the nation they have fought so hard to protect and preserve, it has also served to, frankly, overwhelm colleges and universities and even the many student veterans themselves. Imagine, if you will, with me, that you're separating from the military after a number of years of service, transitioning from a highly structured military environment, one in which you knew your job well. You knew what the expectations were of your performance, you knew exactly when to be where, and you had your battle buddies all around you to support, encourage, and inspire you. Now you're on a college campus, this wonderful VA benefit in hand, but no real clue of how to actually initiate or use it. Suddenly, in a completely dissimilar and unstructured environment from what you had become accustomed to, no one you know in sight, and you very likely have deployed at least once, maybe several times. And now you're just beginning to realize that you aren't the person you were when you first joined the service. You have seen and experienced things that most people can't even imagine. And you put college on hold so you could serve in the military. But now you're excited to start this next chapter of your life. But where do you start? What do you do first? Who do you turn to? These and the countless other questions you have are the reasons GPC and many other colleges and universities have established military outreach or veteran resource centers. Simply put, the Military Outreach Center is here to help smooth that transition from military life to college and civilian life, and it is our goal to do all we can to help veterans, their family members, and currently serving military to be successful both inside and outside the classroom. GPC has one of the largest military student populations in the state, with hundreds of military students currently enrolled. And the field of flags behind me is a beautiful sight, and each one represents and honors every veteran currently enrolled at GPC. We have hundreds more not receiving VA benefits that we're still learning who those are, about 400 more of those in addition to the 650 flags representing them behind me. So we're constantly asking ourselves, how are we doing? Are we really doing enough for our veterans? Well, first I'd like to share that just yesterday, Military Times Magazine released their annual ranking of Best for Vets schools, wherein out of the thousands of colleges and universities in the United States, only 120 schools across the nation made their list of the most veteran-friendly schools. GPC came in at number 58 in the country. But John Douglas, who works with me, will vouch for this. Are we really doing enough? And are we really satisfied? Can we be doing more? There's always more that we can do. That's why we submitted a proposal for a grant several months ago that, if approved, would significantly expand GPC's military outreach program. The grant would add full-time military student advocates or advisors on every campus, assigned specifically to our military students. A number of new military scholarships would be funded, and even an emergency relief fund for student veterans would be provided so there would be no break in school due to a veteran's financial hardship. Well, I think there's no better time than today, on Veterans Day, to officially announce for the first time to this audience that as of just last Friday, that grant was approved. So besides a lot of hard work ahead of us, is that in the very near future, GPC student veterans will receive face-to-face advisement from veteran academic advisors, and not just on Clarkston campus like they do now, but on every GPC campus. And our online military students will also receive personalized guidance and advisement from these new military student advocates. This is the type of support indicative of a community that truly does care about its veterans, who really puts their money where their mouth is when they say thank you for your service. And oh, by the way, these new military advocate positions will be filled by former service members, so we will be putting more veterans to work. I'm now going to take a slight detour, because it's not just our veterans that keep us and our community safe. I feel we should pause to remember and thank our law enforcement and public safety personnel as well, who day in and day out put themselves at risk and are always at the ready to serve and protect us and our community. So look around at your public safety folks that are standing. I think they're all standing around us as they typically are, standing at the ready. And join me in a round of applause for these brave men and women. While Veterans Day is a day to honor and celebrate those who have served and are still serving, it also allows for the opportunity to pay respect to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, the ones who gave their all. Please stand and join me in a moment of silence as we remember those who died protecting our freedom, and then remain standing for the playing of taps. Please be seated. 1.4 million Americans are currently serving on active duty across our nation and in 148 countries around the globe. 1.9 million, that's almost 2 million people, folks, of our military are back home from wars, the recent wars. Nearly 800,000 veterans live in Georgia, and 72,000 Georgians are currently serving in the military, including my own daughter. So we are here to celebrate our veterans today who have so honorably and courageously served our great country, as well as those currently serving. But I especially want to recognize and honor our own GPC veterans today, such as these three. Eugene Anderson, psychology major, U.S. Navy veteran, who doesn't have any veterans benefits remaining, so constantly has to work to find new and creative ways to continue paying for his college, because he's determined, and that's what it takes. Latoya Stewart, health sciences major, currently serving in the U.S. Army in Louisiana, who is taking classes through GPC online while serving on active duty. Now that's devotion and determination. And finally, David Sinnen, engineering major, United States Marine Corps veteran, who this semester is taking classes at Clarkston, Dunwoody, and Decatur campuses. Because if you point veterans in the right direction and simply give them the tools and encouragement they need, they will find a way to make it happen. Because that's what veterans do. David, Latoya, and Jean are just three of the over 1,100 military-related students we have here at GPC, and they are the reasons that I gratefully get up and come to work each day. I want to thank each of them and all veterans for their service on this special day. And before President Rob Watts comes forward to speak to us this morning, who, by the way, truly is our greatest supporter,